Thank you, sir. Will you remark further on the bill as amended? Representative Dubitsky of the 47th. You have the floor, sir. Representative Dubitsky, please proceed, sir.
Thank you. First off, on that point, Mr. Speaker, these devices should be regulated at the federal level, not at the state level, for any number of reasons. First off, obviously Connecticut is a small state, and the movement of pieces of plastic around the country is very easy, and going in and out of this state is quite simple. So being regulated at the federal level is really a much more efficient way to do it. Plus, most important, ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, has the lab. They have the expertise. If you have a device that you don't know whether or not it's legal, you can send it to them. They will inspect it. They will attach it to a firearm and test it. They will issue a report that indicates whether or not it is legal, illegal, what it does. They will be able to tell you without you having to get arrested, charged, spending thousands of dollars on attorney's fees to go in front of a judge that probably doesn't know anything about firearms either. If we were going to regulate these devices at the state level, at minimum, we should have somebody at the state level who can tell a gun owner whether or not the firearm that they own is in violation of this statute. We don't have that. So this should be regulated at the federal level. As some of my colleagues have mentioned before, the federal government is in the process of establishing rules to regulate and essentially ban bump stocks. There's already been a notice of proposed rulemaking that's been issued. The comments will be closed next month, and within 2 or 3 months, bump stocks will be regulated and essentially banned at the federal level. We should allow the feds to do their job because we don't have the resources to enforce this legislation, and we don't have anybody or any facility to tell a gun owner whether or not their individual device violates this statute. So there really is no need for this bill. What we should be doing, Mr. Speaker, is we should be focusing on actually preventing real violence. And that should start with funding and reviving the statewide firearms trafficking task force. We should also be hardening our schools and funding school resource officers. And we should be addressing mental health. If we do those things, we will save and protect far more people than this silly feel-good legislation of banning a little piece of plastic. When the so-called assault weapons ban was put in place, SB 1160, it had 3 sections. It had a gun control section, it had a mental health section, and it had a school safety section. Well, in the gun control section, law-abiding gun owners in this state were forced to give up their rights. Now, they weren't happy about it, but those who were going to abide by the law lined up to register their firearms that they had legally purchased and declare their magazines, which they had legally purchased. And many people in this chamber voted for that bill on the premise that we were going to actually do something about mental health and school safety. But what happened? The law-abiding citizens of this state lost their rights, but we did nothing about school safety, and we did nothing about mental health. That's where we should be spending our energy. We've been here all day talking about banning a little piece of plastic that nobody ever used in this state to commit a crime. Yet people are dying every day in this state because we are not addressing mental health and school safety. Finally, this bill is, in my view, blatantly unconstitutional. I think it violates the Equal Protection Clause. I think it violates the Interstate Commerce Clause. And I think it violates the Fifth Amendment's prohibition of taking without just compensation. That's not even mentioning any of the Second Amendment issues, which are clearly at issue here too. This is a bad bill. It is a feel-good political bill that will have absolutely no effect on safety. And we could be doing something that would really help protect people in this state, but we're not touching it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Will you remark further?